begin by just coming to lie on our backs with your head towards me, and make sure you have handy what you need for your comfort. So a bolster or 2 or 10, maybe a little pillow for underneath your head, but minimal support under your head, just enough so that you can get away with having some support on your head, but without really lifting your head too high away from the floor. It can be really nice to have a bolster under your upper thighs so that you can extend your legs out along the floor. So find your place of ease. Bring your arms down along your sides. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And then exhale out through the mouth through pursed lips. Let's do that a few more times. Breathing in through the nose if possible. Long, full exhalation out through the mouth, and just allow that exhalation to invite a feeling of a wave of relaxation into the body. At least 3 of these, or as many as you need to feel more at ease. And then just notice how you feel this morning. Let an adjective or 2 come to mind. Just notice what that is without judgment. Notice, is it on the positive end of the spectrum, the negative, or the neutral? And then notice your whole body and how you're laying on the floor here. Notice all of the points of contact between your body and the earth. Take another deep breath in through the nose. Long exhalation out through pursed lips, and see if you can allow yourself to settle into the floor, your mat, maybe another centimeter. Just feel like you're settling in a little more. And then notice your head, the weight of your head on the floor, the weight of your pelvis, the weight of your heels. Notice your legs, and do they feel as though they're on the floor symmetrically? Is one foot turned out more than the other? Are both feet pointing straight up towards the ceiling or out to the side? Just notice the position of the legs and the feet. And then let your awareness travel up to your knees, and how do your knees feel? And do they feel like they're symmetrical in space here? Notice your pelvis and the weight of your pelvis. Does one side of your pelvis feel heavier or lighter than the other side? And at the top of the pelvis, towards the waistline, does one wing of the pelvis, one side of the pelvis, feel higher as compared to the other, or lower? And then get a sense of your waistline on each side of the body, and just imagine from armpit right to the pelvis, do they feel symmetrical? If you drew an outline of your waistline, would it be similar looking, or is one kind of flatter or longer than the other? Feel your shoulders, your shoulder blades. And do you feel like you're resting on your shoulder blades symmetrically, or does one feel heavier, or do you feel as though one is tilted at a different angle as compared to the other? Feel your neck, and how does your neck feel this morning? Back of the neck, the front. The sides of the neck, do they feel equal in length, one side as compared to the other? And what about your shoulders? Does one shoulder feel higher or lower than the other? And your head, does it feel like your head is kind of in a neutral position so that your forehead and the front of your chin are kind of at the same level? Or does it feel like your chin is sticking up into the air or really rammed down into your chest? And are you resting on the center of the back of your head? So begin to just nod yes with your chin towards your chest. Feel the muscular engagement at the front of the neck. And then slowly let that go. Find the elastic return. Let's do that another couple of times, tucking the chin down to the chest. Feeling that the first engagement of the muscles towards the front of the neck. And then slow release. Refining each effort as compared to the one before so that your movement might become a little more subtle, a little less extravagant, but really fine-tuning your self-awareness of what you feel. And then lift your chin up and feel the back of the neck, muscles alongside the spine activate, the ones at the front lengthen, and then slowly let the chin come back to neutral. See if you can find some sense of an elastic return of the muscles. And just try that again, lifting the chin up. Feel the contraction, and then a slow release back to neutral. And then with the last effort, lifting the chin up, finding the elastic return back through neutral, and then tuck the chin down towards the chest. And then finding that elastic return. Take a moment to feel the neck. And then roll your head from side to side, rolling one direction, finding the elastic return towards center, and then over to the other side. So it's not about making a big movement, it's an exploration of your movement this morning. Go back and forth, seeing if you can really locate that elastic return back to your starting point. Take a moment's pause in center, and then over to the other side. Back to neutral. And then pausing there and bring the awareness all the way down to your feet now. And feel your heels resting on the floor. And we'll just spiral the legs inwards. Both legs spiral inwards so your toes come towards touching, so pigeon-toed position. And then find the elastic return back to where you started. Try that again, turning the toes inwards and feel the spiraling action of the soft tissues as they hug the bones of your legs. And maybe you can even feel something activate into the pelvis. And then a slow release, just letting that go. One more time. As we hug the soft tissues onto the bones, it creates sort of like a squeezing action, a sponging action. Very healthy for the soft tissues. To hydrate the tissues and just to wake up your somatic awareness. And then come to rest, and then bring your feet a little closer together, and we're going to pinky toe slide one foot up at a time. So let one foot go over to its pinky toe edge, slide along that side of your foot to bring your foot to standing. So with bent knee position. And bring your feet to hips width apart, and find your foot triangle. So both feet are standing, knees are bent, foot triangle. There's a point under the big toe mound, the pinky toe mound, in the center of the heel of each foot. See if you can weight your feet equally over those 3 points. And then bring your hands to rest on your lower belly, below the navel. Elbows are resting on the floor comfortably. And we'll take a breath in. I'll suggest a count of 4, but you can make it longer or shorter. An easy breath, counting in for a count of 4. And then exhaling for a count of 4. Pausing, and then again breathing in for 4, inviting a feeling of balance. Pausing and then exhaling for 4. So really discover what is the length of the breath on the inhalation that feels easy for you, sustainable, and then exhaling for 4, or whatever that is for you. And now let's breathe in for that same count and feel the belly muscles relaxing as the belly rises. On the exhalation, allow the belly to sink, but double the length of the exhalation. So it would be a count of 8 if you inhaled for 4. Your belly will contract as you complete your exhalation. And then inhale for a count of 4. Feel the belly relax. Exhale for a count of 8. And then as your belly is fully contracted, see if you can just get the sense of sweeping it inwards and upwards slightly, just to help fully expel the breath. So relaxing into your own rhythm of this breath, allowing your nervous system to settle more deeply into that state of that parasympathetic rest, restore, reset mode. As you're breathing here, consciously release any tension from the mind, from the face, from the jaw, and just find this sense of interest, of exploration, letting go of expectation or any kind of analysis, just really seeing if you can occupy the space of just being right here, right now, with your own personal experience. With the next exhalation, draw the belly inwards and slightly upwards and allow your low back to gently melt into the support of the floor. So we call it flatten, but it's really just a lengthening. And then as you inhale for your count of 4, allow the belly to relax and the low back to arch very slightly away from the floor at the level of your waistline. Pelvis stays on the floor. Exhale for a count of 8. Belly draws inwards and upwards, and the low back lengthens or flattens into the floor. Continue to initiate this movement by using your breath, breathing in for 4, feeling the belly relax, the low back arch, and exhale and flatten the belly and let the low back lengthen. And once you find your length of breath that feels easy for you and pleasurable for you, notice how your pelvis is rocking, your pelvis is tilting. On the exhalation, the pelvis flattens, the tailbone wants to curl up a little. And on the arch, the pelvis tilts so that the tailbone is pressing more into the floor, the pubic bone is sliding towards the direction of the base of the mat. So just notice that. And then at the same time, as you continue to arch and flatten, notice your head. And is your head nodding as you nod your pelvis? And can you synchronize that nodding motion of the pelvis with the head so that as you arch your low back away from the floor, the pubic bone slides towards the base of the mat, and so does your chin. As you flatten your low back, your pubic bone moves in the direction of the top of your mat, and so does your chin. Can you coordinate those two movements and let it become as effortless as possible, as natural as possible? The connection being between the head and the pelvis is your spine, and this is a lovely undulation of the spine that mobilizes every joint and every intervertebral disc so that it's a really healthy movement for the whole spine. And this is the first of the foundational movements called arch and flatten. So let that go now. Take a moment to relax. We'll take the arms out to the sides now. So bringing the arms out to T position so the hands are about the level of the shoulders or to a comfortable place so that your arms can be symmetrical and you can feel the stabilizing action of the arms and your shoulder blades on the floor. Bring your feet together and your knees together, and we'll just let the legs sway comfortably from side to side. So allow this to be a sense of exploration. Let go of any inclination to stretch your body. Really feel the movement. Motion is lotion for all of your soft tissues and your joints. And again, we feel this sense of the spine spiraling, and the soft tissues have an opportunity to be gently massaged. It's that sponging motion again. And then allow your head, if it's not moving, to also turn from side to side. As your pelvis is rocking side to side, the head is rolling from side to side. And whatever direction you're letting your head go, see if you can let your head go in the opposite direction of your knees. But again, see if you can find a coordination between the head movement and your knees. So it doesn't have to be a big movement. If your head doesn't turn very much, if you feel you have a tender neck, see if you can dial down the movement of the legs to accommodate the movement of the head. Is your face relaxed to an extent that your jaw is swaying from side to side slightly as your head rolls? Can you let that happen? You can encourage it to happen. Face, eyes, jaw, lips, very soft, and a lovely massage for the back of the head and the base of the neck. And then let your head come back to neutral and your knees, and snow angel your arms up a little higher to interlace your fingers behind your head so that you can rest your head in your hands. If you have a pillow under your head, this would be a good time to take it out if you're comfortable doing that. So let the fingers interlace so that you have a little head basket. And we're going to let the elbows fall open. Let gravity be your friend here. So it's not about getting the elbows onto the floor. Really, what I'd like you to notice is where your elbows are in space. Are they symmetrical, or is one pointing up higher than the other? And then here, breathe into the belly and allow your low back to gently arch away from the floor. On the exhalation, allow your belly to gently flatten, the low back lengthen. Swing your elbows slowly up towards the ceiling. Squeeze them in together. And then float your head a centimeter away from the floor. Head just floats slightly, and maybe you can feel an activation of your deep core, the upper deep core along your spine, and then slowly let the head come down and the elbows fall open and relax. So we'll do this in a graduated way. So breathing in, arching the low back away from the floor, feeling where you feel that activation up towards the chest. Exhale, flatten the lower belly, slowly swing the elbows up. You can feel your pectoral muscles activate. And then float your head up maybe 4 centimeters so you can begin to feel the upper abdominal wall also activating. And then slowly, slowly lower down, rolling down so the head comes down, the elbows fall open, and you completely relax. We'll do one more, inhaling and arching the low back away from the floor. You can explore arching more or less. Exhale, flatten, swing the elbows slowly up, noticing the quality of that movement, and then curling up without pulling on the head. Let the neck muscles lift your head, curl up so you can feel the upper abdominals just under the heart activate, as well as your deep core, and then slowly lower down. Head comes down, elbows fall open, face is relaxed. And then we'll release the hands from behind the head, and we'll gather the knees up towards the chest, hugging the knees in, allowing your low back to just melt into the floor. And if you like, you can tuck your chin and float your head up towards your knees if that feels good for you. Think about the connection between your forehead and your knees. And then let the head come down, no strain. It's just about letting the soft tissues of the back of the body feel like they're having a yawn-like experience. And then if you like, you can massage through the pelvis. You can rock your whole pelvic region and your head side to side, finding like a little boat. What does your body need this morning? What would it enjoy this morning? Another option is to bring your hands to the top of your knees and then circle your knees around, keeping your knees together so you're massaging around the perimeter of your sacrum, this SI joint area. So a few times in each direction, and can you coordinate this movement so your head is coming along for the ride and also circling around? Your nose is creating a similar, smaller circle to your sacral circle. And then let's rock all the way over onto one side. See if you can find some momentum to rock your way over. Of course, you'll have to find your way back onto your mat. And then roll all the way over onto your belly. So if lying on your belly is not a happy place for you, you can do all of these movements in different positions. You can also do this, it's the back lift to activate the back muscles. You can do it on your side, you can do it seated or standing, but today you could choose lying on your side. So I'll give instructions for people lying on their stomach. So just take a moment to lengthen your legs out so that you can feel that the hip joint is opening a little bit. Bring your hands underneath your head. Rest your forehead on your hands. Take a nice easy breath here, breathing in a sense of relaxation. Exhaling and allowing yourself to settle. And how do you feel in this position? So if you're lying on your side, bend your knees up so that you feel balanced and at ease in this position. And I'd like you to activate the muscles at the back of your neck and maybe into your upper back a little bit, but trying to keep the neck as long as you can. So breathing in and float the head away from the floor. It doesn't have to be very far, just so you can feel the muscles at the back of your neck activate without pressing into the elbows. And then slowly let the head come down. Let's try that again. Breathing in, seeing how you feel this morning, lifting the head up. And can you feel some activation of the muscles between your shoulder blades, the root of your neck? And then slowly, slowly release down. And now keeping your right hand and arm where it is, let your left arm come down along your side. Turn your face towards the right elbow. Other way, Sean. So the right arm is up, bent up. The left arm is down along the side, and you're looking towards your right. Now we're just going to tuck the fingers under the cheek, and I'm going to just float that elbow up and away from the floor. It doesn't have to be a lot, but I'd like you to feel your shoulder blades sliding towards your spine. Activate those muscles between the shoulder blade and the spine, and then slowly let the elbow come down. Keep the arm where it is, and just float your head and neck up and away from the floor. Just activate the muscles at the side of the neck within your comfort zone. Doesn't have to be a huge amount. And then let your head come down and relax. Bring the awareness now to your left buttock, to your left glute, and see if you can just squeeze the left glute. See if you can isolate that side from the other side. And then relax. We'll do that again. Squeezing the left glute and letting the left leg float up and away from the floor even a little bit. Unweight the leg, activate the muscles at the back of that leg, and then slowly, slowly let the leg come down. So now we'll do the top and the bottom of the body at the same time. So for the back lift, so taking in a breath and lift your right elbow, squeeze your left glute, lift your head and your hand and the opposite leg up and away from the floor to activate that cross-lateral connection between the right shoulder and the left leg, and then slowly, slowly melt it down. If you're lying on your side, reach your leg back behind you to activate those back muscles. Let's try that again. Using the breath, breathing in, lift the elbow, squeeze the left glute, lift the leg, lift the head, and create a little nice curved banana shape of your body. And then slowly melt down. Completely relax, always within your comfort zone. And again, one more time, breathing in. You can imagine the third repetition if you like, especially if this is difficult for you. You can imagine how lovely it would feel to be able to just float your limbs up under your full conscious control and then completely relax. Let's take a moment to let everything go. And then switch sides. So the left arm goes up by your face, the right arm is down. Tuck your fingers just under your cheek. And we'll float the left elbow up. Feel that left shoulder blade sliding towards the spine. Is it similar on this side as compared to the other? Does your shoulder blade move freely? And then slowly let the elbow come down. Let it relax completely, and then let's lift the head up. Breathing in, float the head up and away from the floor. And which of the muscles of the neck are activating? Feel that activation within your comfort zone, and then let the head come down and completely relax. Face, jaw, everything. Bring the awareness to your right glute and squeeze your right glute. And then slowly relax. And breathing in, squeeze the right glute and see if you can float the right leg up and away from the floor, even in the mind's eye. And then slowly lower down. So for the full back lift, just take a moment's pause and integrate those two movements. So as you lift your left elbow, squeeze your right glute, lift the head up and away from the floor and the leg, and feel that cross-lateral connection between shoulder blade and opposite glute. And then slowly relax. You might like to do two physically or imagine one. Still has all of those profound neuromuscular reset benefits. And then slowly release and relax and integrate. So the back bending movements, those activation of the back muscles is a very energizing, activating. It's caffeine for the body, natural caffeine. And then just bend your knees up and let your legs sway lazily from side to side. You can circle the ankles around. I like to think about your legs being like a sea of kelp just floating in the water. You can have your knees a little further apart. You can circle your ankles around, or you can let one arch slide up and down the inside seam of the lower calf. Very relaxing. And then bring your arms up, if that works for you, to roll over onto your side and then all the way over onto your back, and see if you can use sort of like a rocking motion, a rolling motion to roll over. Try to find a way that's as easy as possible, as effortless as possible for you. We'll bring the feet back to standing, so bent knee position, constructive rest position. And just give yourself a moment take any movement if you have any sensitivity in your body. And we'll now do the cross lateral arch and curl. So it's the counter to the back lift. So take a moment to bring the right hand to rest behind your head. The left hand is just resting on your left upper thigh or to your hip. Make a mental connection between your right shoulder and your left hip. You might like to let your head roll over towards your right elbow, so your nose is in the direction of your right elbow. Luxuriously arch the low back away from the floor. On the exhalation, flatten the low back, swing that right elbow up towards the ceiling, let your nose center, and then curl up and across, bringing your knee towards your elbow and your elbow towards your knee. You can use your left hand to assist bringing the knee in. And then slowly release, let the head come down, the foot come down, the elbow land, and completely relax. You can point the elbow and the knee towards one another, but think more about shortening the line between your left hip crease and your right armpit. So breathing in, arching. Breathing out, flattening, curling up and across. Feel that diagonal connection, cross-lateral connection, and then slowly release. Feel that cross-lateral line lengthen and relax. See if you can let your head roll. Come along for the ride. One more time, breathing in, arching. Exhaling and flattening, curling up. Trying to really feel all the sensations that arise for you. And refine your movement so it's comfortable, even if that means just having a mental practice rather than a physical one. Now extend your left leg out along the floor, have that yawn-like experience, reach out through the heel. And if you like, you can release your right hand from behind your head and reach up towards me. Find a full body diagonal between your pinky finger and your pinky toe. And you might like to reach your arm up towards the front of the room as though it's growing out of your center of your body and then relaxing. You might like to reach your left leg down towards the back of the room as though the leg starts in the center of your body and then relax. And then pinky toes, slide that left foot back up into standing your feet. Constructive rest, and your arms are back to T position. And notice how you feel. Can you sense that diagonal? Can you imagine it if you can't actually sense something? And then we'll do the same on the other side. So left hand is behind the head. Right hand is resting on the right hip or thigh. You're going to let the head roll towards the left. So find that cross-lateral even in the neck. Breathing in, arching the low back away from the floor. Exhale, flatten the low back, swing the elbow towards the ceiling and the nose, and then curl up and across. You can use your right hand to help draw that right leg in. Feel that connection, and then slowly release, lengthen that line. Head comes down, elbow relaxes, foot comes down. Does this side feel different from the other side? Let's do two more in your own time. Breathing in and arching. Exhale, flatten and curl up and across. Slowly releasing. So moving with your own breath. To practice at home, really find your own pace. But a glacial pace will give you the more benefit from a neuromuscular point of view. So I like 3 repetitions so that you can refine the movement, your coordination, and really tune into your deep sensation. And as you're done, you can extend that right leg out along the floor, grow it a little longer, reaching out through that heel point. You can reach your left arm up if that feels good. Notice that diagonal connection. And then reach up with the arm as though it's growing out of the center of your body. Find the elastic return. And then reach the opposite leg long, reach it out. See if you can find that deep core connection, and then let it release back in. And then let's pinky toe slide the foot up. Your arms are back in T position, and you might like to find that WASHRAG position, or you might like to hug your knees in towards your chest. So WASHRAG, the legs sway from side to side, and the head rolls lazily from side to side. The mind is relaxed and just dissipate any physical, mental tension, any kind of tension. Of course, you can choose stillness if stillness is what you need, what you desire. And then as you're ready, use the sway of your legs to roll yourself all the way up onto the right side. So nice, the legs sway over and you just let your arms come along. So rolling like a log. So you can lying on your right side. And then have some support under your head, whether it's your upper arm or a pillow. Draw your knees up to side-lying chair pose. So that's when the thighs are at right angles or as close to right angles with the torso. The lower legs are brought forward so you can just see your toes over the horizon of your knees. And we're going to bring the top hand, the left hand, to rest right at the waistline, just above the pelvic crest. Now, keeping the knees together, this is the side bend. We'll start with the lower body. The knees stay glued together, and the lower leg of the top leg lifts up and away from the other leg. So that top foot comes up and away from the bottom foot. Knees are connected. You'll feel that waistline shorten on that side. You can feel the muscles under your hand activate. And then slowly release that top foot down. And you'll feel the pelvis sliding down. So do that again. I call this the flapper. So the leg comes up. So does the pelvic crest on this side, shortening the lower waistline, and then that top foot comes down. Now lay the top arm, the left arm, along your side so that your wrist is somewhere resting on your hip. And thinking about the muscles of the armpit at the top and the bottom. We're going to take in a breath into the side line of the rib cage. So as you breathe in, that side line, that side seam, if you had one on your side body, lengthens. On the exhalation, reach with the arm and reach that hand right to the base of the mat, past your sitting bones. You can float your head up and away from the floor if you like. Earlobe comes towards the shoulder, shortening the side line of the neck, and then slowly release down. Now take that left arm and place your fingertips on the crown of your head, but keep the palm away from the head. I call this the cupcake position. If you had a cupcake with lots of icing on your head, you would create a little cage around it. So it's just to feel the fingertips. So we're going to breathe into the side line of the upper body. On the exhalation, lift the head, feeling the fingers on the head, and reach your elbow and your armpit towards that top hip, that top of the pelvis. So coming into a side bend, the upper body, and then slowly lowering down. And then we'll add the leg. So breathing in, length into the sideline, keeping the knees together. On the exhalation, lift the head and lift that top foot and allow that whole sideline of your body from earlobe to pinky toe to get shorter. And then slowly release. And You can do one more if you like, or imagine it. Breathing in length. And on the exhalation, lift the head, lift the foot, armpit towards the pelvis, pelvis towards the armpit, creating an accordion-like effect of that top waistline. The lower waistline is lengthening. And then slowly, slowly lower down. Completely relax, and you can reach that top leg straight down towards the base of the mat, as though you're reaching out through your foot triangle, looking for those 3 points of contact if you stood against a wall. And you can actually reach back with that leg behind you to activate your glute. You can roll your upper body forward a little bit for balance. Reach out through the ball of the foot, and then slowly bring your legs together once again, one knee resting on top of the other and the other foot as well, on the foot as well. So let's roll over onto the back. Just take a moment. You can to pause and feel the two sides of your body. So the SOMA scan is when we tune in to that inner feeling of our body. How do we feel from the inside out? And when we're trying to balance the two sides of the body in particular, it's very useful to notice how you feel. Notice any qualitative difference from one side of the body in this situation to the other. Does one waistline feel longer? Does one half of your body feel flatter against the floor, more relaxed, more coordinated? So if you find something positive after the experience of working with the left side, kind of take a moment to memorize that. If you feel worse on this side now, then really dial back your efforts when we work with side 2. So let's roll over onto the other side now. So again, finding that ease of movement, using the rolling, the roundness of the body to roll. Find your side-lying chair position. And instead of breaking everything down, we'll just do the whole side bend together. So knees are up nice and high. Lower legs are brought forward, right angles to your thighs if possible. Bring your top hand to rest on the crown of your head. This is so you don't pull, crank on your neck. Try to let your neck muscles get stronger. Notice if your chin is jammed down into your chest, try to have a nice long alignment between torso and the back of your head. And we'll inhale and breathe length into the sideline of the body. On the exhalation, lift the head, lift the top foot, keep the knees together. Notice the pelvis and the armpit coming closer together. If you don't feel much movement, imagine it. And then slowly, as you're ready, lower down. Let the feet land together, the head land, and completely relax. So you might like to turn your head at a slightly different angle for the next one, maybe towards the ceiling, breathing in length into the sideline of the body, exhaling and coming into your side bend. Slowly lowering down as you're ready. So you feel the contraction of the muscles, and then you slowly release the contraction. Take a moment's pause, and you might like to turn your head at a different angle again, maybe towards the floor this time, to access different parts of the neck. Breathing in length, breathing out and coming into your side bend, feeling that line shorten between earlobe and pinky toe. And then coming down to land, head comes down, foot comes down, relax. And then that yawn-like experience of extending your top leg down towards the base of the mat, reaching out through your foot triangle, and then reaching back behind you, reaching out through the ball of the foot, maybe letting your torso roll forward. Activate the glute, and then slowly come back, knee on knee. Take a moment to relax. And then let's come back onto the back, rolling over onto the back. I find Letting the legs lead the way is a lot easier on shoulders. Let's see if you can find that rolling like a log experience. And now consider what you would like. Let's do WASHRAG. Take the arms up to a T position with both palms facing up. Now let your head, the feet are standing, the knees are bent. Let your head roll so that you're looking towards your right palm. The hands are at shoulder height. The hands, back of the hands are on the floor, T position. So let your face see your fingers laying on the floor. Let the legs fall to the left and turn your left palm down so your palm is against the floor. Let's breathe in, everything to center, knees, nose, and both palms are resting on the floor, looking towards the ceiling. Head rolls to the left, left palm turns up, right palm turns down. And back to center, so you're always looking towards the up-facing palm, the legs are pointed towards the down-facing palm. So the arms are resting on the floor and just spiraling, that nice spiraling, sponging action. The head's rolling, the arms are rolling, and the pelvis is rolling, and the feet are massaged. That lovely central axis of your body is enjoying that sponging action. The deep core musculature is having an opportunity to be hydrated through movement in a very relaxed way.